What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, it looks like the Charlo brothers called out Canelo, who just won his last fight, became a champion in that division, and I want to talk about this. Make sure you follow the Charlo brothers. One is at Twin Charlo, the other is at Future of Boxing. Shout out to Texas. Now, this was the other day. He posted this on his Instagram, which is verified. And they're both champions at the 154-pound division. So you see one brother with the IBF belt, other one with the WBC belt. I was at that fight. I covered that particular fight in Las Vegas. It was a Showtime triple header, I believe. And this is the caption. Throwback Thursday. The day after winning my first world title, repping that H-Town, Houston. Somebody call Oscar De La Hoya. Tell him stop the political warfare and put his only stud at Canelo up against a true 154-pound champ. Hashtag Lions only. Hashtag waiting on my moment. Hashtag bring Floyd back. So, I don't know what the bring Floyd back is, but if it's what I think it is, maybe it's because boxing, the A sides and whatnot haven't been the same. So, first of all, let me just break down my thoughts. This is what I love to see. I love to see call-outs. I'm an old school boxing fan. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali used to show up at people's gyms that he wanted to fight and taunt them. Like, this sucker don't want to fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? He would do stuff like that. I give Broner a lot of credit because he used to call out everybody. He still does call out people. You know what I mean? He was calling out Matisse. And a lot of people are like, oh, Broner don't want to really fight. But Matisse didn't call his bluff. In fact, Matisse did an interview and said, oh, Broner doesn't have a title anymore, so who cares? You know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to do in this fight game. Call their bluff. Now, the exception to that rule is if someone's nowhere near on your level and they're calling you out. Like, I remember Luis Collazo. That's my dude. But Luis Collazo called out Floyd Mayweather. Now, clearly, Floyd Mayweather, out of all the people he could fight, he's probably not going to pick Luis Collazo after he knocked out Victor Ortiz, the guy Floyd knocked out too, with the two-piece or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? So, after the Victor Ortiz win for Collazo, he called out Floyd and said, hey, Floyd, come to Brooklyn. Like, that's not logical. But this is different. This is the Charlo brothers. They're young, hungry lions, lions only. They're both champions. They both have belts. They're both undefeated. So, this makes a lot of sense, especially since you know Canelo sells in Texas. Huge fan base that turn out for his events. 51 and change, 51.5 basically. That turned out for a fight with Liam Smith, who I'm sure most of those fans didn't even know, because the most of the boxing world on this side of the pond didn't know who Liam Smith was. I cover boxing and I didn't know much about him, if not anything. I didn't even know that was Paul Smith's brother, and I covered Ward's fight where he fought Paul Smith. So he might have been there. I just didn't know enough about him. He hadn't made no noise. He hadn't fought nobody. You know what I mean? I know other British fighters, Anthony Corolla, Anthony Joshua, David Head, you know what I mean? Just don't know him. So this is different. You can't say that these two aren't on your level. And you guys seen the picture in the thumbnail. They look pretty big next to Canelo. Now, it's not just about who's taller or whatever. So this is just, to me, what I like to see. You know what I mean? These dudes stay in shape. They're champions. They're trying to get back active. We need the fighters to be doing stuff like this because it's actually, to be honest, it's disappointing. It's disappointing that I haven't seen, like, some people wanted Floyd gone, like, oh, it's my time, and they act like they were going to take the torch. But I haven't really seen a lot of the premier names, the guys who could do something big in the sport, go for it. You know what I mean? This boxing is a business, like we all know. You got to self-promote the hell out of yourself. I self-promote. You know what I'm saying? You go look at my Facebook, 10,000 plus followers. My Instagram, 40,000. I'm approaching 50 on YouTube. You know what I mean? This comes from hard work, self-promotion, grinding, putting out videos, content, doing impersonations, all this stuff. You know what I mean? And I really expect some of these fighters, there's a lot of guys who, it's like they just let their promoter do everything. And this is the age of technology, social media. These guys need to be getting out here and doing the business part of it. That's what Floyd mastered. It's not just showing up on fight. You know what I mean? He was selling the fights. He was hyping people up. he was doing the trash talking. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to trash talk. That's not going to be everybody's lane to be this villain, or some people don't want to deal with the pressure of the public hating them. I'm not saying that, but I just want to see post Floyd Mayweather, these young, strong champions and whatnot, and get aggressive. You know what I'm saying? If someone's in your division and they're the A side, because the A side thing, since Mayweather and Pacquiao, most A sides aren't nowhere near what Mayweather and Pacquiao were when they were A sides. You know what I'm saying? Like doing 1 million plus on pay-per-view multiple times. You know what I mean? Doing these crazy live gate numbers. A side now is like Canelo, who does anywhere, when he's not with Mayweather or Cotto, he's been doing anywhere in the neighborhood of 250 to about 450,000. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's the A side over other fighters. He's the biggest star to them, but he still has, you know what I mean? He's still not doing the numbers that Pacquiao was doing in his prime, or Mayweather's doing in his prime. So I like this call out, man, from the Charlo brothers. Put the pressure on these guys. Demetrius Andrade is calling out Canelo. The Charlo brothers are calling out Canelo. J-Rock's calling them out. I don't know what's happening with that particular fight. I will keep you guys updated if I hear anything. But all of these guys, it's not just this person or that. Everybody, they need to be putting pressure on each other. You know what I mean? If you want to fight, if Demetrius Andrade wants to fight Lara, they need to be doing stuff like that. But I like this call out from the Charlos because Canelo needs to decide some things. I understand he's hurt and injured or whatever, but he's gonna have, I love it because he's gonna have to decide what he wants to do. You got Golovkin sweating you, you got the Charlo brothers calling you out, Demetrius Andrade calling you out, J-Rock is just calling out whoever. He just wants his opportunity against a big name. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everywhere you turn, there's a good fight. And I said this before, Golovkin, if the Danny Jacobs fight comes off, you look at it, Golovkin has had a better 2016. Win, lose, or draw. I'm talking about who he stepped in with. He stepped in with Kell Brook, who wasn't considered as fragile as Amir Khan. You know what I mean? As delicate around the whiskers, as Kell Brook likes to say. He beat him, stopped him, busted his eye up. And then if he fights Danny Jacobs in December, then that trumps the A-side Canelo's schedule, who was Amir Khan, who only had 3 fights. And his last fight before fighting Canelo, he didn't even look impressive against Chris Algieri. Had a year off, came up to Canelo weight of 155, did good for a couple rounds, then got knocked out, which most of us expected. And then after that, you fight Liam Smith, a guy we've never really even heard of, right? So I'm liking this call out, and I'm liking the pressure from these different guys. And I know a lot of people have this fanboyism where you only want to see the Charlo brothers fight Demetrius Andrade or J-Rock or Lara. That's what you're going to only bring up because you don't care about either of those fighters. So you want to pit them against each other. People did this with Floyd. They hate Floyd. They hate Lara. Say they both are running bitches and boring and all kinds of stuff. Then why were those same people saying, hey, Floyd needs to move up to 54 again and fight Lara? So why would you want to see two of the most boring fighters, in your opinion, fight each other? Why would you want to see 2 runners fight each other? Because you don't give a fuck about either. It's the oldest trick in the book. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all good with J-Rock fighting one of the Charlo brothers or Lara or Demetrius Andrade, but Canelo is the biggest star, so rightfully so, these guys are going to be gunning for the person that they feel they can probably beat, who is now a champion at 154. And also, in addition, he is the biggest star. So if you beat him, then you put you on the map. So, you know what I mean? Of course they're going to go after people like that. So it's just, I mean, if you're an A-side, you have the bullseye on your back. Canelo is that, plus he's a champion. So I'm loving this because he has some decisions to make. What is he going to do? Is he going to stick around at 154 and defend when he gets better? Or is he going to move up and fight a middleweight? You know what I'm saying? So I'm liking where boxing's headed. And Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy, they have some tough decisions as far as what they want to do with Canelo's career. Same thing with Golovkin too. You know what I mean? I keep it a buck with you guys. And Golovkin's in the same situation. If he fights Danny Jacobs, I give him all the credit in the world. That's a good fight. You know what I mean? It's a consolidation WBA fight, so the winner will consolidate those belts. That's just the overall good fight. But I like this because these people, the guys in boxing who are the biggest stars in the A side, they're slowly but surely running out of room. They're going to have to start fighting the best available comp, and that's really what it boils down to. because people don't want to see you fight a welterweight in Amir Khan. They don't want to see Golovkin fight another welterweight like Kell Brook. They don't want to see Canelo fight Liam Smith, a champion, but most people considered him pretty much a paper champion in the sense of he didn't have a resume to back up his legitimacy as a champion. In addition to that, he didn't have the big fight experience, and there were no surprises when they fought. There was not many people that I know that was intelligently explaining how Liam Smith was going to defeat Canelo. The people that I did see, a lot of them were UK fans and they're just being loyal and ride and die. And then some of the other people were just kind of wishful thinking because they don't like Canelo. But I didn't see many arguments why Liam Smith was going to beat the brakes off of Canelo, which most of us did not expect. So I like this from the Charlo. I think they should keep their foot on the gas and until they get these big fights. J-Rock, Canelo, these guys need to mix it up. And again, to close with my point is, I'm surprised that these guys aren't it's like they're content getting the, I'm not gonna say little bit of money because they're well off, but what I mean by that is the amount of money they're getting is little compared to what Pacquiao, his best purses, or Mayweather's best purses. And to me, they need to go for greatness and push their teams to make the right fights and to really carry the torch. The game is wide open. I don't know if you guys see a common theme. The game is wide open. Floyd doesn't look like he's returning this year. I mean, unless he just pulls a rabbit out of the hat, but there's only 3-4 months left of the year. So these guys need to step it up, all of them, you know what I mean? Get some fights under your belt. Do the self-promotion. I mean, Kenan Briggs, prime example. This is a guy who was almost forgotten about in the world of boxing, and somehow, some way, he rejuvenated his career. Now he's a little bit different because he's not a champion or nothing, so he's gotten a fan base, but he hasn't really paid off and gave him a big fight. But it almost did if David Haye would take the fight that he claimed he would give him if he fought on the undercard. But a lot of these young fighters are in different positions, like the Charlo brothers. They're both champions. You're undefeated. You have a good trainer. You're in shape. You know what I mean? You should be fighting multiple times. That's why I give credit to Golovkin, because at least, even though I know his resume is not deep, at least he's fighting multiple times as a champion, multiple times per year. You're getting at least 2 to 3 fights from Golovkin per year for the last couple years. I give him definite props for that. These other guys need to stay active, like the Danny Garcias. He ain't fought since January. It's taking forever for this Molina fight. It's Berto. I mean, I went to his fight in April, and when's he fighting again? You know what I mean? It's like a lot of the new fighters I don't know. They need to get on the teams like, man, Al Heyman or Oscar De La Hoya or whatever. I need something. Give me a tune-up or something. They should be more active. So let me know what you guys think of the call out from the Charlo brothers. I would love to see Canelo versus one of the top dogs at 154. I wanted to see the Golovkin fight. If him and his team are that frantic about making the fight or don't want to make the fight, or Golovkin's pricing himself out, wants more than 10 million or whatever, I'm okay with Canelo staying at 154 to defend his belt because it's a stacked division. But what I'm not okay with is seeing Canelo fight guys that make no sense to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So if he's gonna stick at 154, there's about 3 or 4 premier in prime kind of names. I would even settle for Vanes Martirosyan, to be honest. But my top picks would be obviously a lot of rematch, Demetrius Andrade or one of the Charlo brothers. Julian J. Rock Williams, but I know that's a fantasy because he is super dangerous. Plus, his name ain't ringing bells like that. And at least these other guys are champions and or former champions. You know what I mean? Like Demetrius Andrade, who the only reason he's not a champion is because he got stripped, but he's an Olympian. So those are all probably bigger fights and make more money business-wise and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think of the Charlos calling out Canelo. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.